All right, so in case you were not here on the 26th or 27th, this is what we did for the day. So we started out looking at the textbook. I did screenshots of all of it, so this is all you had to read. So I want you looking for who are the big four doing negotiating at Palace of Versailles. So they have the names of them, but most importantly, I do want you looking at the countries that are considered the big four. And then what were Wilson's 14 points? I don't mean to list all 14 points. I just mean the general idea. What were, when people say Wilson's 14 points, what was the goal of it? So then I do have you actually write down all of the 14 points. 5 of them should already be on your page. I put the longer ones onto your page. But you would take this time to write down all 14 points. You can summarize it. So it does not have to be the whole thing. For example, here they are. On this one, just summarize it. You don't have to write all those sentences. And I will be posting that on this slide at the end of today. So you'll be able to see all of those. Then I did want you thinking of this question because 14 points were the Americans' perspective. But I want you considering the number of lives lost by America versus France and Great Britain and how that might factor into why they want to have harsher punishments than maybe the United States is suggesting. Also be considering the war was fought in Europe, damaging their land. It's not damaging the United States land. So how might that change the perspective? Why might that make the Britain and France want to have harsher punishments against Germany compared to maybe the United States? All right, so you would answer that on the back of your page. Then we are looking at a secondary document that summarizes some of the points of the Treaty of Versailles. So now we're taking the actual treaty, what actually got signed, ending the war. And for this part, we are just summarizing the 6 points. If you do go to it, you can see, if this loads, it is something like this. So like in your first paragraph, you just summarize this whole point, number 1. Then the next one, number 2. All right, so you're going to do all 6 of those. And then lastly, it's kind of trying to bring it all together. So you'll be reading all these pages in the textbook. It goes on to the next one as well. And you are filling out whether Wilson's points do actually show up in the Treaty of Versailles. So he made all those 14 suggestions. How many of them actually make it in to his to the actual document, right? So that should be filling it in right here. I'm going to give you a couple right now because they are not in either of those 2 readings that we looked at. So 1, 2, and 3 are all going to be no. And then number 7 is going to be yes. But the other 10 you should be able to find on your own. And then lastly, as always, there is an exit ticket at the end of the day. So please make sure you are doing that. All right, so that is all you missed. Email me if you have any more questions.